We are live, and I went to the wrong camera. How about that? It's the Apple Byte Extra Crunchy podcast with your host, Mr. Brian Tong. There he is.
Oh, you're really going off on that, Steven. Like, really going off. What up, everybody? Welcome to the show. It is episode 69 today, Steven.
69. That's not a
Big
coincidence. That's the number of the show.
That is the number of the show. Welcome to Extra Crunchy. This is our show that kind of expands on the video podcasts and updates you with the latest stories of what's going on in the world of Apple. And we talked to you guys and gals last week about how we wanted to kind of touch base and really make this show about the future of Apple because, let's be honest, Beach, it's kind of like the dog days of tech right now. Nothing's really going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on in the car space right now, but nothing else really. I mean,
there's this lull, right? It's before World Congress.
Yeah, totally.
Apple's maybe potential March-ish April event. We'll talk about if they even have one like that. But what we wanted to do with this episode, and we asked all of you to call. How many calls did we freaking get this time?
We had like 40, probably like in the upwards of 50 calls or so. A lot of multiple redo calls too, which is nice. Thanks guys for redoing your calls. It's cool.
Yeah, but you still, just because people redid their calls didn't mean you still used them.
Yeah,
too
totally.
Long.
Yeah.
Exactly. So anyways, we want you all to keep on calling us at 1-800-616-2638. That is our number for you to leave your name, where you're from, and really get your point. We're going to include a bunch of the calls for this show about the future of Apple, but what we wanted to do first is at least just update you really quickly with a few stories, and then we'll jump right into the calls. So just about what's going on in the Apple world right now. Again, nothing major, but they released the latest iOS 10.3 beta, and the thing that people are kind of talking about right now is the fact that they brought Find My AirPods finally into this beta. Now, we did a video about it. I got to play with it a lot. It's not going to be as, how about this? It's not going to be as useful as Find My iPhone, because with Find My iPhone, you have a cellular connection. You're always connected. It has a good proximity of where you are. You also have the GPS chips that can kind of at least be a little more specific of where you're located. With your AirPods, you only have a Bluetooth connection, and that Bluetooth connection has to be active for you to know where your AirPods are. If you close the case, let's say you have your headphones out and you put them in the case and close the case, that severs that Bluetooth connection, and so it'll only show you the last time it made contact. So like if you drop your dental floss and someone picks it up, it's gone, right? So it's not going to have a real-time tracker on there. But I do think it's better than nothing. It does send a little beep sound. The beep sound gets louder and louder as time goes on to the AirPods when they're out freely. But here's the thing, right, Beach? The whole point of people don't want to lose their AirPods. They kind of just like stick them right back into their little dental floss. Like, why would you just throw them around somewhere?
Yeah, I mean, that seems like the most obvious carrying case for them, right? But I think that's cool though. I mean, I had that concern. What am I going to do if I lose my AirPods? Now there's a way we can find them. So that's good job,
nothing.
Apple.
Yeah, I mean, some people are like complaining, oh, it's not as good as the phone, but I just think it's better than not even having anything. So I'll give them kudos on that, I guess. We'll give them a little bit of a good Apple on that one. Also, in other operating system news, Mac OS 10.12.4, they're getting night shift mode. We've seen this on the iPad. We've seen this on the iPhone as far back as like iOS 9.3. The Mac itself will be getting its own night shift mode that turns kind of the blue glow light tint that we're used to seeing on our screens during the day. It turns it down to that kind of that yellow warmer hue. Do you use the night shift mode on your phones or devices at all?
For sure. Totally all the time. That's awesome to have it on a laptop because, a lot of people do work in their bed, so that's a good idea.
I have a rule, Beecham. No technology in the bedroom. Phone technology.
Yeah. That's a good rule to have, buddy.
It is.
Yeah, for sure.
They get in the way. So night shift mode is coming. Again, these are all in developer betas. They're not in public betas yet, so you won't be able to get access to them. But they will be coming soon. And then before we get to the future of Apple and kind of just start talking and riffing on that, I just want to let people know that as of today, 7 years ago, Steve Jobs introduced the very first iPad.
Oh, wow. 7 years.
Does this seem like it was that long?
That seems like a long time, actually. That's crazy. 7 years. Wow.
So I put a video clip in there that I was actually lucky enough to be in that room that first time, and I do want to talk a little bit about it because when the iPad first came out, it was one of the first products that I can remember
Look
that
at you.
people didn't get. Oh, I know. Look at it. I'm like a lot. Am I like? Yeah, I look a little young. My hair is all over the place in that one. It looks like I'm Dragon Ball Z.
The iPad looks huge, man.
Maybe I'm just small,
The
bro.
first one.
Dude, maybe I'm just small.
Actually, no, you haven't changed a whole lot. Your hair is more
no, that was just too
emo
wild,
back
bro.
then.
That was like wild, dude. Emo. What so, what I wanted to bring back though is that people's first impressions with the iPad were actually really mixed. Like outside of that room, for me, I was like, "Oh, damn, this is awesome! Like, I want this ASAP." But everyone that watched the keynote outside thought it was stupid.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, probably because they just didn't get it yet, you know?
Exactly, and it was one of the few products where the sentiment was, and again, it was the first Apple tablet. We've seen other tablets before, but tablets kind of had a lull at that time. Before Apple put out their iPad, you have to remember netbooks were really hot, right? The super cheap laptops.
Yeah.
And so Apple's like, we're gonna do the tablet our way. We knew Microsoft. They didn't have I don't believe they had a Surface at that point, but at least they had tried other tablets in the past. And people were like, why do I need an Apple iPad? And then people went to the store, and once they got their hands on it, they were like, I need a freaking Apple iPad.
Yeah.
And the iPad, although it is, the tablet sales are declining, it is one of my favorite Apple products of all time. Just because of how I'm very mobile and how I consume a lot of, I read comic books all the time. I'm on the go, watching movies. It is my favorite. It's
you know why
my second favorite Apple product, honestly.
You know why I think the sales have been declining is because they made it so good. And it's like it doesn't break. I still have my third generation and it's fine, it runs perfectly. Nothing's wrong with it. Like I don't have a reason to upgrade. So that's my theory on why sales have been declining,
It's true. And also I think people that was the heyday of Apple where people were literally buying anything Apple made, right?
Yeah.
There was that point in time. There's probably like a good, let's say, I mean, people might be laughing like people are still doing that. Yeah, sure, they are. But I think there was like a good 5 to 7 year chunk of time where, at least in my brain, I was going to buy anything that Apple made.
I know. I would see friends who would be like, when's that new thing coming out? I got to get it. I have to get it. That was even like on people on television, like comedians and stuff. They were having the same kind of vibe, anything Apple would make. They're like, I need it. But that's kind of, fizzled out a little bit.
It has, and my voice just cracked, but I'm going to pretend that didn't happen. So just wanted to kind of give a shout out to 7 years ago. The iPad was first revealed to us, and I mean, I love that thing. I talk about it so much. People are just like, dude, they're in most people's minds, they're like, iPad's a lame product. I'm like, dude, it's my favorite product.
I like the movies that were on the iPad that you were just showing right here. There's like Up. And just kind of dates it, There's Up and Star Trek. Oh, and the Michael Jackson, like right when he passed away.
Oh man, that's funny.
Oh.
So that's kind of what's going on in the Apple world. Really, nothing major, nothing big or shaken or anything like that. But this show we wanted to really be about the future of Apple, and we felt like letting you, the callers, kind of drive the show a little bit. Like Steven said, we got 50 or so calls.
Yes.
And I know we kind of try to keep it around 30, 45 seconds. And when you ask people to talk about the future, they're probably going to talk longer than 30 to 45 seconds. But, we just want to appreciate all you that called. But let's just kind of start jumping into it, and it'll give us a launch pad to talk about some of these topics. All right?
Cool. So you want to play the first one here?
Yeah, let's go for it.
First one is from Francis. And I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this, Brian, because of the Skype setup, but we'll see.
It's okay. Just...
The first one is from Francis, and he is talking about the future of Apple. He's from LA. Here we go.
Hi, guys. This is Francis from Los Angeles. I love the show. I just want to talk about the future of Apple. They're pretty behind in driverless cars. Do you think they should make a bid to buy Tesla? And they're behind in virtual reality and mixed reality, as far as I know. Should they make a bid to buy the startup Magic Leap? And also the iPhone currently accounts for around 65% of Apple's revenue. Do you think Apple will ever have the level of success it enjoyed under the Jobs era in terms of having ever hit like that?
Did he finish?
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Yeah, he's done. He was talking about the Jobs era. He just finished right when you asked that, actually. Talking
No,
about the Steve
I was
Jobs
reading your
era
expression. So you know what? I heard the call at first, but then just you know what? I'll let you just tell me when it ends because I did get to hear all of them.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah.
So Francis, thanks for calling. Yeah, it's a little tricky because I'm on Skype today, but look, when you talk about Apple's plans for Tesla, you have to remember that recently Apple was trying to actually do their own thing with smart cars, with autonomous vehicles, and then they pretty much completely bailed out of it. They stopped it. A Bloomberg report said they pretty much scaled back their efforts. They were, some of the staff was getting reshifted, reassigned. People were leaving the division, and Apple's now trying to come up with maybe some sort of a system, but they're not doing their own car. And the thing about it is, look, Tesla is owned by Elon Musk.
Yeah.
He's not looking to sell it to Apple.
No.
Tesla is growing. Again, they're not the most profitable company, but when you talk about companies that remind you of what Apple used to be like in different spaces, Tesla is one of those companies.
Definitely.
Did you see their solar panels for roofing?
Yeah. I mean, they got their hand in a lot of different things now. Definitely not phones and stuff like that, but they got cars. They have solar-powered roof tiles, SpaceX. So they're definitely moving and shaking big time.
They're doing all types of amazing things, and it's not necessarily a consumer product that costs under $500, but that doesn't matter. Francis mentioned Magic Leap. This is the augmented reality headset that is pretty much, at least from
awesome.
demos we've shown, like is the most. It's one of the most advanced. I mean, I'm gonna put them. The thing is that Magic Leap is so developmental that Microsoft's HoloLens at least looks like it could hit the market before, hit the mainstream market before Magic Leap does. But again, Magic Leap is doing some mind-boggling stuff. I think what you see with Apple is they've already committed to augmented reality. I highly doubt they get their hands in Magic Leap. I feel like someone already investors have already put money into Magic Leap, and Apple wouldn't be a part of that. I just feel like that. I could be wrong, so maybe someone can call in and let us know. But Apple's doing their own augmented reality. There's rumors that they're going to release their own augmented reality glasses by sometime this year.
Yeah, we were showing a video of that actually a couple months ago, and it looked really cool. It did look cool. Like if they just going to design the glasses properly, then they'll probably have a winning product.
It's hard.
That's the
I
key.
still think. Yeah, exactly. But I still think it's hard to do glasses because not everyone wears glasses.
True. Yeah. It'd be something people have to get used to. Definitely.
Like no one's going to, much like the smartwatch industry, people that don't like wearing watches didn't all of a sudden start wearing watches because of Apple.
I know.
Right? So
Yeah.
if you're telling something that's even now we're talking about on your face,
I know.
someone that doesn't wear glasses isn't going to, and I'm not going to start wearing glasses to look trendy just because Apple made glasses,
Yeah, are you going to start wearing glasses just so you can check your email and like get maps and stuff like that too?
Bro.
I don't think so. I mean, unless you're already wearing glasses and they're, if the style factor is good, they're light, they're not too difficult to use, then I could see people doing it,
Yeah, and then on the other point, Francis, that you mentioned, will they ever have the level of success from the Jobs era? I think this is what's really interesting about perception versus reality, because earlier in January of 2016, Apple had their most profitable quarter ever in the history of the entire company. Okay, so that shows that from a financial standpoint, they were the most successful that they had ever been. Even during the entire time Jobs was at Apple, they never had a quarter that profitable or that successful monetarily, right? So when we talk about that, we know that Apple decided to say, okay, we're going to make two different phone sizes. We're going to, make a lower end, super lower cost phone and have like 3 or 4 different phones. And then they start doing different things. Like they decided to target the market differently. There's a lot of demand for the Apple iPhone and obviously a huge audience that wants it. But when you talk about the level of success in the Jobs era, I think you're more leaning towards that idea or that feeling that this is the most innovative company doing the best stuff. And right now, I can't outright say that is them. Back then, they used to be. They, hands down, that's all everyone thought about. That's all how anyone perceived Apple. But, Beach, you've seen enough of this. It's a different beast now. We talk about it all the time, and now it's starting to kind of get through people's heads that we're not hating on Apple. We're just trying to tell you, like, look, it's not what you think it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's just, we're seeing the same thing repackaged over and over again, it seems right now. There's not a lot of forward movement in phones. Like, like technology is kind of almost stagnant right now in phones. Like, what else are they going to do besides put in some sort of, I don't know, like Star Wars-y hologram thing or something. They have to do something.
You want. That's what you want, bro.
They have to do something really big to wow us. But I mean, in other industries, like, we're talking about SpaceX and Elon Musk's company, Tesla. His company, you can argue, is the closest to what used to be, whereas they're building new things that are very, high end looking. They're also like the design is like a big element in Tesla and SpaceX and stuff like that. They're trying to make everything look sleek and sexy, so they kind of have the same vibe going. But yeah, I mean, I feel like what else can you do with the phone? We have to figure out something else cool that we could do with it. So
yeah, and all these new product categories that people are excited about: virtual reality, augmented reality, smart cars, the virtual home assistant. Apple is trailing in all these key areas right now as we speak. So I don't know if if you want to talk about money, fine. They had their most
they got money
ever. They're sitting on like $200 billion. They need to do something with that. So
Magic, if they bought Magic Leap, that would be a huge thing, because I hear Magic when just watching chat rooms when we were at CES, people's like, what's Magic Leap doing? What are they up to?
Yeah.
Because that seemed like when they launched their product or their demos or whatever they put online, that seemed to get a lot more interest than a lot of other augmented reality things that I've seen, other than like Pokemon Go or something. But yeah, Magic Leap seems pretty cool. The big hurdle for everybody, including virtual reality, is like, how are we going to get everyone to wear this crap on their heads? Yep. Like virtual reality seems like last year it was like everything's virtual reality, and at CES this year, virtual reality was still there, but it seems more like it's more an experiential thing that's not, people aren't going to be using it all the time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They're still trying to figure that out, right?
Yeah.
They still, I think the other thing though that worries me about Magic Leap the most is everything that people are excited about and that you talk about, we've still only seen demo videos on YouTube. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's it was either Bloomberg or Wired that did a behind the scenes profile of the company, and they toured their facility, and they still wouldn't really show much. And again, I know that their tech is awesome, but it feels like one of those things that when are we going to actually see something? So that's why when I earlier said HoloLens feels like a product that's going to come out that's more polished and ready to roll. Although the tech in Magic Leap is like mind blowing. We've literally only seen a few demo videos.
Like I'm looking at the Magic Leap
public demo. We haven't seen a public demonstration that a wide audience has been able to try on.
Yeah. Like right now I'm showing the Magic Leap website, and all the stuff in it looks really cool, but we haven't seen any hardware or anything that's going to make this possible, And that's the big thing, like what is it going to look like? Is it going to be heavy on your head? That's the big thing people worry about. So.
And if the Magic Leap team is laughing us at right now and saying, wait a second, bruh. And then they release something next week, then fine. I'll take it all back.
Yeah, totally. We just haven't seen anything. But we have seen cool technology like this where there's a robot, he's under a table, and the table actually goes in front of the robot.
Yeah, I know.
They're doing cool stuff like that, using actual spatial things in your space that are a part of the augmented reality. So I'm really interested to see how that goes,
I mean, I've been able to try on the HoloLens and then go through this process of if you're a developer, how do you, and all the depth sensors. The HoloLens can see the same things that, for the most part, the Magic Leap does. Again, we don't know enough about Magic Leap to know exactly what it does, but HoloLens, I can create a world. I can drop a paper ball on my table. It sees it, and the ball will roll off on it as if it's a real table.
That's awesome.
So a virtual ball. So again, we're gonna get back on track, but we're just gonna have to wait and see what Apple has to offer. Look, the Apple's most innovative product this year, to me, was the W1 chip inside of the AirPods. Like AirPods. That was.
I want to sing the song, man. I'm sorry.
You can't. Don't tell them. No, they can't. We got something cooking for you guys. But that was Apple's most innovative product this year, everybody. Definitely. The W1 chip in the AirPods, and the W1 chip is amazing. But again, there's other barriers of entry to why people can use the AirPods, how they look, if they're really worth paying that much, the functionality. And I do think they're a good product. I've used them so much now that I'm like, you know what? This is a good product, but it's not a great Apple polished product. It's like they had the W1 chip, but they didn't really have anything else. So
when I see other people wearing AirPods, I get jealous. I actually get jealous. Like I want them. I do want them. But I can't. I don't want to pay for them. They're too expensive.
What?
You know what I'm saying? Like they're too expensive. That's the bottom line. But when I see people who have them, I'm like, I wish I had that. But I'm not going to pay for it right now. So it has been growing on me big time, man.
No,
the last couple
as
months.
time has gone on, I like them a whole lot more. I still don't like how they look. But the W1 chip, anyone that uses that, they're like, dude, this is awesome, and it is. So we got to give them props. Okay, let's go to our next call. Should
we go to that call with the dude who talks about the AirPods, the future?
Yeah, it's a good segue. I didn't even realize it.
I forget we couldn't really understand his name, but he called and he wanted to say like maybe this is the future of the AirPods. Like this is kind of what he sees Apple's direction going. So here we go.
Hi, Brian. Hi, Beecham. This is Ikoxi from Los Angeles, and I'm calling because I wanted to get your thoughts on an article that I read in the Wall Street Journal that was suggesting that the AirPods could actually be a solution to Apple's lack of a smart home device, because it would be in your ear and you'd have access to Siri at any given moment instead of having to go to the room where the device is located to, give it a command. So I was thinking like maybe these AirPods can be more than just the traditional Bluetooth earphones. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on that theory. Anyways, I love the show, and it definitely makes driving in LA traffic a lot easier. Thanks.
Cool. Oh, LA traffic, Brian, he's talking about.
No, I know exactly what he's talking about. I mean, I appreciate that our LA folks are listening to us, because I'm going to start experiencing that LA traffic is brutal. So, when we talk about the future of the AirPods and using them more as Bluetooth headphones, I think what is interesting about his suggestion and idea is, yes, Apple, at least right now, it feels like they're trailing in the smart home, and I think they absolutely are. But, you could use your AirPods like that. One of the things about technology that people sometimes forget, and they like take this huge leap, is when you use technology in different ways, and you're changing someone's behavior, you need to make them comfortable with that behavior. So, for example, 3D touch was like, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Let's see how they implement it. Do I use it all the time? I use it a little bit here and there, but it not completely. Something like Google Glass, people are like, I don't like seeing some tech thing on my face or your face, so that's kind of weird. And that was one of the things that killed it, right? That social acceptance. Even something like, how many times do you see people really talking to their phone like Siri? And you don't really see people doing that, right? You don't.
I do it, but when I do, I like try to keep it on the down low. I'll be like, Siri, set an alarm.
And so I think when this guy's talking about, okay, AirPods being kind of that centerpiece of that headset, the thing is that I have used the AirPods. I don't want to wear AirPods all the time. So like that would require you to have to wear something in your ear all the time. I think the AirPods is kind of like one of those gateway behaviors to get people used to the idea of having wireless earbuds in their ears all the time.
Yeah.
You and I have talked about that movie, Her.
Yes.
All the time of how it is, right?
He has them all the time.
Computer in his ear.
And he's having a constant conversation with himself in his ear all the time.
Yeah.
So
and if that's the future you want.
I was in the bathroom and I was thinking about that guy's call, and I was just like, it is kind of, it's humans moving more in the direction of becoming cyborgs. Like we're gonna have things in our ears all the time so we can communicate with a computer. So it is kind of interesting. Maybe he is right on some wavelength.
I think on some level, I mean, that they can try and do that, but for someone who uses the Amazon Echo all the time, the fact that it's just in your room and it can hear you because of the way its the mic array can pick up, where you are in your room while you're talking, and can filter out the fact that you're talking while a TV is on, and does it pretty dang well. Like, I don't have to be connected to anything other than there's a speaker in my house.
True.
So that in itself, they've already, to me, Google Home, I mean, they've already kind of cracked that nut, and Apple's still like, oh, but you have an AI assistant on your phone all the time. I don't want to have my phone in my pocket in my house all the time.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Do you ever yell to Alexa though, if you're like far away? Do you yell across the house?
I think when you first start using it, you're not sure, you don't trust that it can pick you up. That's what happens, right? Yeah. So like my nieces and nephews, when they use it for the first time, they like yell or they walk right up to it, and I'm like, no, no, no. Or even Shauna, she's like, she never talks normally to it, so I'm like, just say something normally. And then when it works and you're like, whoa, it actually picked up my normal volume. I said a normal natural sentence and it works, I feel like around 80 to 90% of the time. Then you're like, damn, this is really cool, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I think the earphone idea or the AirPods idea is great. It could potentially be that. But again, Apple HomeKit, we're still waiting for it to really take off. And it's all about the Echo right now. It's
True.
all about the Echo.
Yes, I'm gonna change mine so I can call it computer instead of Alexa.
Yeah.
I'm tired of calling it Alexa, to be honest.
I
feel kind of nerdy. I'm like Alexa. If I say computer, I think I'll feel cooler. Actually,
I'm gonna still go with what I started with. I feel like I'd say the word computer in general talking more than I would say the word. You know what? I don't want to say it. It's going to set off my apartment. It's going to set off my apartment if I do it. True. All right. Should we get to the next call?
Yeah. Okay. Next call was from Randy, who has some thoughts about the future of Apple as well. Here's Randy.
Okay, I got 30 seconds and go. This is Randy from San Diego. Love your show. Always have. Always will. Okay, that's enough of that. Guys, you're awesome. Anyway, am I excited for the future of Apple? No. In fact, if I can't get an awesome phone or an awesome something this year, I'm jumping ship. Everything you said about the Amazon Echo, it was spot on. Everything at CES, amazing. So I've been a big fanboy. It's not cutting it for me no more. So I'd love to know your thoughts on that. Later.
Wow, he's jumping ship, Brian. He said he's jumping ship.
Look, I hear a lot of people say that. I don't believe it until they like. Look, we've done a lot of live streams, and I've heard a lot of people in that room say, "I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna get that." I'm like, so I'll be okay. I'll prove it to me. They didn't buy nothing. They didn't buy nothing.
I know. I'll get the next iPhone probably.
Yeah, it's like the whole look. Back it up when make the purchase and do it. Then I'll believe you. But I think Randy's frustrations is, what we've talked about. And I don't want to sound like a broken record because I think, look, the problem to me is he's like, oh, I'm just not excited about, what they're doing anymore or excited about tech. Don't let one company determine that for you. Like there are so many exciting things in tech happening all the time. And look, Apple can still surprise us. I don't know if they will this year. I'm not going to buy a pair of augmented reality glasses anytime soon, even if Apple comes out with them. And it's going to be, again, their first mainstream market attempt. Like this is a different Apple. This is not the Steve Jobs Apple that could all of a sudden come out with a phone and blow your socks off, come out with a freaking iPad, come out with a music service, a digital music service that took everyone off guard and was like, whoa, like
disruptor.
This is not the same Apple. Okay. You just have to understand that they still make great stuff. If you're in the ecosystem, you're going to love it. But just look around, like everyone's doing so many crazy things. So I would just tell Randy don't get jaded by technology. I hate that. Like technology is so fun. Like we're so lucky that you and I, Beecham and I have our jobs because of technology. We got to talk.
Yeah, look at the studio,
about
man.
Technology. Okay, that's stupid. We're so blessed and lucky, and we never forget that. But at the same time, like you shouldn't get jaded by it. Like when I criticize, it's for fun, but it is true. Like show us the best stuff. That's what we expect. And if you're not, we're either not going to talk about you, or if you act like you're the best and you're not, then we're going to say it too. So
people like to choose sides, though, Brian. They love to be on a team,
Well, if they looked at my products, they know what team I'm on.
Oh yeah, you're on Team Apple.
But it doesn't mean I'm not the mascot anymore. I might have been the cheerleader. No, I'm kind of like on a basketball team. I'm not the superstar rah-rah guy now. I'm kind of like the sixth man off the bench. It's like, all right, I understand what needs to be done here. I survey the floor. I get it done, but
yeah,
I'm like the Andre Iguodala of the team.
Yeah, there's really not one company right now that makes everything that you just have to have.
Exactly.
All those things to work all together. Like everyone kind of takes a little bit from everywhere. Like everyone has a couple of Apple things. People have a couple of PC things at work. You need other things. So there's not one company just killing it right now.
I mean, that should be exciting to people, right? It's like, who would want one company to literally dominate? Well, I did let that happen in like the 2000s, and I enjoyed it thoroughly.
But still, there were other companies coming after them who are innovating, you know, that just makes other companies want to innovate and build other stuff that's going to attract other customers. You know what I mean? So that's a good thing. Like, that's why America has laws for, you know, no monopolies, you know, stuff like that. Like, we want competition. We want people to build new cool stuff. So
like, look here, let's just look at the landscape right now. If you had to go around the line of who does the best of what, look, virtual reality, I'm going to throw my hat at Oculus. I think they do it. It's either between Oculus and the Vive. I know you're like, dude, but that Star Wars simulation on the
I mean, that's the only thing I've done.
That's the only thing you've done.
So I can't really argue, you know.
But you know, they're killing it. They're obviously cars. Tesla. Dude,
all car manufacturers, man. I was at the Detroit Auto Show.
Oh my goodness.
Every manufacturer has a self-driving car now.
Yeah.
Every single one.
But I'm on Team Tesla, bro.
Yeah, Tesla is the hotness for sure.
I don't even have one, but I'm on Team Tesla. Okay.
Totally. I see them. I almost get hit by one daily in San Francisco, man. I think I've said that before, but yeah, every day there's a Tesla flying by me. I'm like, oh.
You know, you have the virtual assistant. They all actually, you know what's interesting? I'm gonna be a little politically correct here. They all do things differently and do things well, you know, whether it's how they're integrated, but you know, the Echo is going to be the leader right now. You just can't deny that all of its. And one of the reasons why, you know, people talk about, okay, with the future of Apple and artificial intelligence, why is Apple trailing, right? What are some of those reasons? Because it's not just like, oh, a company's trailing. There's reasons why. Okay, so Apple introduced HomeKit back in like 2000. It's either 13 or 14. I think around 2014, Apple introduced HomeKit, and everyone's like, "Oh, the smart home, this is gonna be it." And we've seen that Apple is like really significantly lagged with just ramping that up. I mean, they really had a lead start. They had Siri, they had HomeKit in 2014, and all of a sudden in 2016, Amazon just kicked their butts, right?
Yeah.
And what's really behind that is that what worked for Apple when they were the number one game in town with the iPhone, they created this like made for iPhone program, right? And this was when you made any third-party accessories, it was an authorized chipset from Apple. You paid a licensing fee, you put in your speakers, you got a sticker on there called Made for Apple or Made for iPhone, okay? Mm-hmm. Now let's fast forward to 2016, 2017. With HomeKit, Apple's like, okay, you need to follow, again, kind of this procedure where you need to be using the right types of chips that work and are compatible. Like, it's a combination of like a Bluetooth and Wi-Fi chipset, as well as, you know, passing these standards to be a HomeKit partner. Well, guess what Alexa did? Alexa is an open platform.
Yeah.
They're like, here's the code, here's the APIs, develop on it. We will approve you as a works with Amazon Alexa or whatever, works with Echo in 10 days.
Wow. I had no idea it was that fast.
Like, everyone's like, how did so many people get on Alexa? They made it easy.
Super easy.
Amazon will be the first to admit, even in like, there's a Reuters article that just got published recently, but they'll be the first to admit and kind of talk about how, okay, you know, Apple is really controlling it from a standpoint of like, you know, maybe if you're dealing with door locks and other items that have security cameras, right? Yep. This stuff is more sensitive. And they actually outright admit, like, okay, you know, Apple does have an edge from that secure standpoint of like really being able to control that partnership with the HomeKit authorization. But most consumers don't care. Like, they don't look into that nitty gritty. They're like, oh, I use the Echo with my lights. I use it with my thermostat. I use it with my TV remote. Does my camera work with Alexa now? Yeah, I'm going to get that. Right? Yeah, that's totally how consumers think.
Totally. Yeah, Apple loves to lock everything down, and I guess that's what they were trying to do with Siri and everything else in their HomeKit.
It worked in the past when they were like the only game in town, or they only had kind of like one competitor. You know, Samsung wasn't doing the same things as them, but now it's different. Like, Samsung is coming out with their own virtual assistant from the creators of Siri.
That's right.
It's a like advanced version of Siri called Viv.
Yeah.
That Apple wanted to do their own thing with Siri. The company that created Siri was like, we actually want to do a whole lot more, created Viv, and now Samsung acquired them. Like,
wow.
Dude, like,
that's crazy, man.
You know, so these are these relationships and these things that are happening behind the scenes that have made it an ultra competitive environment where Apple can't just be, we're the only game in town, jump on Made for iPhone. It's not like that anymore. And that's why you kind of have seen them lose momentum and also just fall behind for someone like Amazon.
Do you think Apple will open that up, like Amazon has done, and just make it easier for developers?
I think Apple is always see, from a standpoint of like Apple having this identity and this brand and this control, and really they are right because they're saying we're looking out for the consumer. They are right about that, but they're also actually looking out for themselves. They want to work with specific partners. They don't want Joe Schmo to create an app on like, for example, dude, I have all these like total janky apps on my Alexa. There's one called Ocean Sounds, okay?
Yeah.
So you can hear the water to go to sleep. Yeah. Right? Some
awesome.
dude in his garage made that. I know he did.
Well, that's kind of like how when the iPhone first came out and there was all these just random like crappy apps. That's kind of the same thing, right? I mean, everyone's just building like whatever. They're throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks.
They look down at that, right? But that's what I want.
That is fun. I remember I had a lighter for my iPhone. It was so dumb, but it had a lighter.
That type of stuff, right? And so Apple's like, hey, we're above this. We're above this stuff, guys.
Yeah,
right. That's how they approach it, and I get it, and it does benefit. They're appealing to a certain audience, but dang, when you're behind, you can't be that same way anymore. Like,
true, yeah.
Amazon didn't have a consumer product hit, like an actual product, until this Echo, and now it's a hit. And other companies are hungry and they want that space. You can't be all controlling when you're behind in the pack. You can't.
Yeah.
You got to be hungry, and Apple's gonna learn what it's like to be hungry this year. 2016 things shifted. I think 2017 they're gonna be hungry, and hopefully it helps them in the future.
Let's get hungry.
Let's get hungry. All right, should we get the next call?
Yeah, here's another call. The next call is from this guy. He doesn't want Apple to buy Netflix. We talked about Apple, or Brian actually mentioned, like, why doesn't Apple buy Netflix?
It's a genius idea.
So this dude had a call about that. Let's listen.
Hey, Brian. Hey, stop giving Apple ideas about acquiring Netflix, man. They're going to mess it all up. Then you're going to need a Mac just to be able to watch, or an Apple TV just to be able to access Netflix, I don't think it's a good idea, man, where the way things are going with Apple, So I would not let them get their hands on Netflix. Okay? Hey, thank you for your show, man. Great. Marcos Sierra.
Marcos Sierra. Cool. That guy's great, man. He's totally right. He's totally right.
I love how he's like, dude, they're just going to put it on the Apple TV and force us all to buy Apple TVs.
I know.
I'm like dying laughing. That's like
so funny.
That's so good. Love the call. I have nothing more to say. Can't top that.
He's right. I mean, they do that with their live streams, and you got to watch it on Safari. And
so true.
And then they're going to have Apple TV on Apple Music. It's like, where does it end? So yeah.
Stop being like that, guys.
So funny.
So we just wanted to kind of have fun and talk back and forth about the future of Apple. We also want to, before we wrap up the show, we want to add this extra call because we love it when you guys kind of contribute and help to the knowledge base and just help look out for your fellow Apple biters. So this is a cool call just about if you're looking for a new iPhone and you've heard about those modem issues that we've talked about, the Intel modem versus the Qualcomm modem. Check out this call.
Cool. Let me cue it up. Here it goes.
Hey, Beach. Hey, Tong. This is Seth calling from Wisconsin. I just want to go back a couple episodes. You talked about the iPhone 7 and the Intel versus the Qualcomm modem. I'm actually looking to upgrade my phone here, and I talked to a friend of mine who is a manager at a Best Buy Mobile, and he told me for AT&T customers, if you're looking to get the faster Qualcomm modem, all of the AT&T phones at Best Buy, they're all the unlocked version. 2 out of their 3 carriers, as you know, Verizon, Sprint, and AT&T, he says it's just easier for them if they all get, all the phones. They can put the specific chip in, and that's how they do it. So if you're an AT&T customer looking to get the Qualcomm modem, just something to think about. Go to Best Buy, and they should be able to hook you up. All right. Love the show. Talk to you guys later.
Cool. That's helpful for AT&T customers, man.
Yeah, it's all about getting the unlocked version of the phone, basically. And like you said, that's what Best Buy has because they have all the multiple carriers there. So that would have been a great that would have been awesome if we all even knew about the Intel modem issue when the phones came out.
True, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's one of those things that's just so crappy. Like, I still can feel my phone doesn't get as good a signal in San Francisco in areas that it used to be just fine. And my buddy who swapped out his phone for a Qualcomm modem-based one is like, he's just like, oh, it's so much better. I'm like, I hate you. But that's just how it is.
That's funny, man.
Yeah. So there you go, guys and gals. We just wanted to kind of riff a little bit, and we will be back, obviously, next week. Remember, continue to call us if you guys have follow-ups or new things you want to talk about. I'm gonna give people a little leniency here, Beecham. I'll let you guys stretch it out to more like 45 seconds of your calls.
Cool.
If you guys got good points, make them, and we'll play them, all right? Call us 1-800-616-2638. That's going to do it for this week. Until then, hasta la mañana.
Hasta
la vista.
mañana.
Hasta mañana. See you tomorrow. All right, thanks, Beach. I'll catch you later, bro.